you go, George. You should be live.
Good evening, everyone, or good morning to Mel. Happy Monday. Hope we're all doing well. We're back with another show. We're going to look forward to hopefully Arsenal playing against Crystal Palace, unless they decide to not play because it's a little bit cold. But I'm going to introduce you to my guests first of all. So, Mel, how are you?
I'm all good. For the people who are wondering why they can hear me and not see me, it's because I may or may not have been asleep. George may or may not have had to phone me to wake me up, so I'm currently trying to set up my laptop. But aside from that, I'm doing really well.
Did you have a good sleep?
It was supposed to only be a 20-minute nap, turned into a 45-minute nap, so yeah, it was a good nap.
All right, that's all that matters. James, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well, mate. Thanks for having us back on.
Yeah, no problem. Laura, how are you as well?
I'm all good, thank you very much. It's been a long time since we've been on, and it's a new year, and hopefully we can kick on for there.
Yeah. And Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. All good, mate. And haven't had to have a nap yet.
Yeah. No, that's probably because you've got a house full with loud kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably something to do with it. So yeah, so thank you for everyone who's watching in the chat so far. Hope we're all doing well tonight. So, well, I'm kind of glad a couple of things have happened because otherwise we weren't going to have anything to talk about, and we might have had to talk about Rangers and Arsenal men, James. So I'm glad we've had to move away from that. Obviously, I'll start with you, Paul. Obviously, the game. What day is it today? Monday. The game yesterday got called off, which I think we all probably on Saturday thought that was going to be the case. And it's been rescheduled for the 29th.
Yep.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. So I think that was probably the best time they could have probably played it, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the days that are and aren't available for us, obviously we've got the Sub Cup next week, midweek, so that ruled that one out. But yeah, in between two big games, it just means we'll hopefully have the momentum of getting a good thrashing of Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, take that into the Bristol game, and then straight up to Man City the following weekend.
Yeah,
so, that's pretty much the only time they could have played it.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'll stick with you, Paul, because obviously in the WhatsApp group there was conversation. Does that change the momentum of what sort of players would play in the Bristol City game? Me personally, I don't think it really does. I don't know what you think.
I don't think it does at all. I think we'll play a strong team in both the WSL games and the FA Cup games. I can see a couple of changes, sort of a little bit of rotation. Obviously, it does depend if anyone picks up a little injury or anything against Chelsea might make that decision for Rennie. Sort of force her hand somewhere. But yeah, I think the FA Cup's an important competition. I think unless we get a fantastic result against Chelsea, we're fighting for second place with City. And the FA Cup's a great chance to get some silverware. And three cups in second place in the WSL wouldn't be a bad season, really.
No, it's probably a bit of you'd look at that as a success, wouldn't you, Laura? If we managed to get those domestic cups and go far in the Champions League and get second, especially from how last season went. In what Paul said, with the squad, do you think we would change much, or do you think that it will still be a couple of youngsters play or some squad players play against Bristol?
I think people forget that Bristol City was only in the WSL last season, and we found it really hard last season to break them down. So I would still say put out your strongest 11, and as Paul said, keep the momentum up, get them back into a rhythm again. They've been out for a good wee bit with Christmas and New Year, obviously. Try and get the players, try and get the energy back into players' legs, get them used to being back on the pitch.
Yeah.
Especially with it being the coldest weather coming in, keep them good. But no, I don't see why we have to change the team anyway. Or even if we're winning comfortable, then start bringing some of the youth ones through.
Yeah, and like let's have it right. If they can't play 3 games in a week, then they should go home. Like, no, to be fair, like it's not, and they're not going to be playing. Not every single player is going to be playing 90 minutes against Chelsea, 90 minutes against Bristol, 90 minutes against Man City. It's just, I just think like you said, keep the momentum. Like you might see a couple of youngsters feature, but like at the end of the day, James as well, Bristol City are fighting to try and come back up, aren't they, from the Championship? So they're not going to be. It's not like we're going to be playing, say, someone who's in the lower leagues down. Say, like if we manage to get someone like Fulham, it's not going to be that like a walkover like that, is it?
To be fair, I've seen quite a few comments mention about this and what sort of team we should play. Experience in football always shows the cup games you can never judge anything. One thing everybody loves is a giant killing. And for a team like Bristol just went down last season, to beat us, although yes, we are kind of looking at finishing second, we're still one of the big dogs of the WSL, and we will be a giant killing to them. I think at the same time, looking at it, I can see an argument for playing some sort of more squad players or second choice players, if you like, purely on the basis of getting some game time in and potentially maybe looking to see, right, this one can maybe start coming back into the first team, or do you know what? Looking towards the summer, we're looking at moving you on. But I think she will keep it as strong as possible. If she is the manager, of course, by the time the 29th comes. But I can't see too much rotation. And as you said yourself, Paul said, and Laura said, there's no reason to change it. It's 3 games in a week. You're a professional football team. There's youngsters that would kill for the chance to do that. So why change anything now?
And the thing is as well, I think what people forget as well, I stick with you, James, is that if you look through the squad, they don't need to necessarily play the young girls, because they could play people, say, like Lotta, Kadina, Stina, Kafaji, like even Kim, potentially, if you want to have that bit of experience. So, do you know what I mean? They're all experienced first team people that have played in the first team. So that's like, I think people do forget that as well, and don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. A lot of our squad is experienced and should be able to handle the occasion. So my thing is, as has been pointed out many times, we don't want to go breaking that momentum. We want to keep it going. We want to keep pushing. But we do have to seriously take into consideration Chelsea are not going to give us an easy game. They want to batter us. Man City are desperate to obviously jump above us. They're not going to give us an easy game and didn't at the Emirates at the start of the season. So I think that will play a bit in the mind. But we should be able to, as you say, bring the likes even Manu into the mix, bringing on likes of Lotter and stuff. Stina Blackstenius, so we should have more than enough in what we call the second team to be able to put Bristol City to bed early doors.
I don't know about Manu. I would maybe put in Naomi Williams. But
that's what I mean. Like not no disrespect as well, Mel. If those players can't get not putting performances and getting us through a cup tie against Bristol City, then there's big questions, isn't there?
Yeah, I think looking at the sort of level that we have throughout the squad, like everybody said, from the young ones right the way up to the team that starts needing enough every week. Yeah, okay, when we played Bristol last time, it was only, like 1 or 2-0 to beat them, and it was quite a close game. But in that game, we went into it looking like we couldn't be arsed, and we knew we were going to walk into it and walk all over them. And I think that goes back to then the mindset that we had under Jonas. So I think if we don't get a result with how we're playing, regardless of who plays, it's not going to look great, and it's going to start putting the doubt in that back in the fans' mind, which is only just left under Renee and the performances that she's got out of the squad recently.
Yeah, I agree. I just, like you say, the momentum as well. But then, like, if you're comparing it to last season, that was under Jonas as well. So we just seem to be a lot more professional, like with our performances and just getting the result. And then that's when you're seeing players that can come off the bench and get some minutes. Obviously, I'll go back to you, Paul. So if we beat Bristol City, I think we've got London City Lionesses, haven't we? So that's another manageable draw, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're doing really well in the Championship at the moment. After our game was postponed yesterday, I actually went to the Fulham London City game instead, and they look like a really good team. I do feel they could be competing as a WSL side at the moment. They could easily compete with the likes of Brighton, West Ham, Leicester, to be a mid-table team. But yeah, for a team like us with our experience in there, they're definitely beatable on their day. But their team seems to be made up of quite a few players that are coming towards the end of their careers, or they're young players that they've got in on loan from other clubs. Like obviously Taya's gone there from us. They got a couple of Chelsea girls as well. So they're an interesting mix of players, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in the next couple of years. If they do manage to get promotion, how they manage to stay up there. But like you say, it's definitely a winnable game for us. I'm just so glad we avoided the likes of Chelsea and Man City in the draw, unlike the last couple of years at this stage.
I was just about to say, if we do play London City Lionesses, will they even have a team to field if they take Freya as well?
Yeah.
They'll get Freya if they do get them. Most of them are Arsenal. They'll not be able to play, will they? Or will Arsenal say, yeah, you can play because obviously you're out on loan and you haven't really been in our first choice team?
It'd probably be like the Watford situation, wouldn't it? Do you remember when we played Watford in the FA Cup? They had Michelle playing, and I think they had a couple others, didn't they?
Yeah, they had Katie Reid and was it Maddie Earl was there as well? And then Michelle scored a get for them right in front of the North Bank.
Because she's is it Maddie Earl's on loan at Bristol City, isn't she? Or what she was?
I think she'd been recalled.
Oh,
Maddie
okay.
recalled, yeah.
Because she wasn't getting any game time, so there's not much.
She signed the other day. Bristol City had said that Maddie had been recalled.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I was going to ask, like what the situation is, right, with the loan players. But I suppose that's just down to the two clubs, maybe. Haven't London City Lionesses, haven't they got like someone who's on loan from like Sweden or someone as well? I think I might be wrong with that though. But yeah, they're pushing for promotion, so it'll be interesting. I'm glad I ain't got to go to Dartford to watch it though. So, so yeah, obviously, Mel, if we beat Bristol City, we have obviously got London City Lionesses. Do you think that'll do you think that's a similar mentality, or do you think they'll put out like the first 11 for that?
I think it'll probably be a similar mentality. I don't think at any point Renee's going to be like, "Oh, it's an easy game. I'll put on a weaker squad." I think she comes across as somebody that wants to do whatever's best for the team. That means that they're going to walk away with 3 points or progressing to the next round of a cup. So I can't imagine she's going to field like a fully young youth team. The team's going to be made of people off the bench and out the academy and stuff. You're still going to see probably a mass majority of your normal players that you'd expect, with a little bit of the youngsters sort of sprinkled in, both to sort of reserve minutes for the players that are playing every week, but also to try and keep everybody fresh by keeping minutes in their legs. I think the worst thing you can do for a player is rest them every week. When you've got games like this, I think sometimes that feels a bit more detrimental than even playing like 15 to 30 minutes in what people would class as the smaller games. So it might not be a full strength squad, but it's still going to be a strong squad regardless. I don't think with how we are this season we can risk putting out our weakest team and be at the end of the giant killing, like James said.
Yeah. Do we have any comments, Mel?
We have a couple. Andrew has said that for the Spurs game, we should play the reserves and win the dog. And Warren has said, at least the Chelsea game's first, so we'll be at our freshest, which I think I agree with, but also you kind of want to have at least one game under your belt. A high competitive game under your belt before you go into a game like that.
I was going to say, Crystal Palace isn't that game, is it, really? But, yeah, because I would have liked us to have obviously played yesterday, then have the Crystal Palace game. Then obviously I think we've got the Brighton game, haven't we? Then Chelsea. But we also, it's been called off now, so we can't. So, is there any other comments?
No, that's the majority of them, if I'm honest.
Okay, cool. And Andrew, can't believe you sacked off the show just to work. How dare you? So yeah, he's in. He'll be in. We'll have to put him in the doghouse when he comes back.
He must be skiving if he's on this.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think about that. Yeah. What sort of job's that? You're watching a podcast while working. I bet, yeah. Yeah. So we'll move on. We'll move on to talk about the Palace game, because it ain't gonna take a week to defrost Meadow Park, surely. So that obviously that's gonna go ahead on Sunday. James, what sort of lineup are you expecting? Are you expecting to see the sort of first 11 we had before Christmas, or do you think with the break you might see a couple different faces?
Yeah, I think start 11 wise, I think it'll be as you were before Christmas. I can't really see changing anything. I think the only things that might question that is if anybody picks up a minor illness or a minor not before then. On the subs bench, I think we might see a bit more, in the sense one or two that are coming back, maybe getting at least on the bench sort of thing. But yeah, I really can't see her changing anything to do with the sort of start 11 before Christmas, especially that momentum we carried in, obviously finishing the league's part off well, and then getting the qualification through to the next round of the Champions League. I think she'll want to keep all that sort of still going and still building.
Yeah, I think what's interesting as well, Laura, I was listening to Renee, and I think she was saying that Leah Volti's back, like in training and stuff. do you think we could see her like coming off the bench, just getting some minutes, just so she's got some minutes in her legs before that Chelsea game?
Yeah, I can see her coming off the bench. But no disrespect to Palace, I would genuinely see some of our players that haven't really had a strong start at the season coming, not even off the bench, but starting.
We're like, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I don't fear Palace the way I fear Bristol City, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Bristol City were a strong team last season if they set up properly. Palace just don't seem up to being in the WSL this season. Considering watching like a few of the highlights back, or their defence is very easy to break down. But then again, we are Arsenal and we make it hard for ourselves. We don't like to make it easy or spot how easy it is. But I genuinely like to see like the likes of maybe Naomi starting in goals, or and possibly starting Rosa or whatever. I would just like to avoid Manu altogether because she's just a walking, talking disaster. Like, and that's nothing against her, but it's just watching watching Daphne come in and be so comfortable at being able to just stop a ball on the line. It's been so refreshing this season. But yeah, I don't fear. I don't really fear Crystal Palace. I don't. Maybe they might
Famous
shut me.
last words.
So,
We'll crop that for next week's show.
yeah. You can hold me to that if it isn't a good result. But yeah.
But no, I do agree. Like, I'd like to see a couple others play. To be fair, I've watched enough Arsenal forward players play that recently that shoot the ball but can't score. So I don't want to be seeing Stina start.
Yeah, Stina's been doing that all season now. So.
It'd just be like watching the men all over again, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing, I say, like someone like Cadena and Lotta, or Cadena or Lotta play. Going to excite Paul now. I wouldn't even be dead against seeing Katrina Miller-Cool play, because I want to actually go to you, Paul, about her. I think we all thought maybe she might have gone to Everton, but recently they've brought a couple of players in, haven't they? And I don't know if that particularly could happen now. So surely she needs to try and get some minutes to put herself in that window.
Yeah, Everton have, I think they've signed 3 players and they've sent a couple of their younger ones out on loan to Sheffield United for the remainder of the season. So, yeah I think Catherine either needs to find a loan spell quickly in the next week or so to potentially someone like Brighton, Leicester, West Ham, those sorts of teams, or she needs to really fight and get the minutes on the pitch for us. And either Palace or potentially Brighton game next week in the Cup could be the opportunity for her. I mean, she's only played 21 minutes this season for us.
Yeah.
But in the 4 games she's played for Denmark, she hasn't played a full game for Denmark during the season, but she's either scored or assisted in 3 goals. So she just needs the minutes on the pitch. She needs to just gel with the team a little bit better on the pitch rather than the training ground. And I don't feel 21 minutes over 2 games is enough time for her to do that, especially right at the end of the game. So she needs a couple of starts, even if it is only for the hour, and then replaced, and see where she is after a couple of games like that.
But then is that going to prove difficult? Because by the looks of pictures, Pullover isn't that far behind of getting back. So there again, and that's another player going to come back from injury, and it's just it's another person that's going to be set right back again. As I say, the pictures for Pullover don't look like she's very far behind and coming back.
the midfield, we've got so many players and so many talented players that can play there, that they're all going to be fighting for those few places. And that there isn't enough, that there aren't enough minutes on the pitch to go round for everyone. And I think if Catherine doesn't get the chance now, I think that's going to be the end of her career at Arsenal. Either whether it's now or whether it's at the end of this season. And she needs to be somewhere that she's playing regularly, and that's for her own development. And if she ends up going, whether we sell her or loan her, either way, if we sell her, I'd love to have a buyback clause, because I feel in a couple of years we could be kicking ourselves for letting her go. But right at this moment, obviously the way that we are playing and the way the starting lineup is so strong, she's just not going to get that chance.
Where do you think she could go, Paul? Like realistically, because it isn't Everton now, is it?
I'd say probably any of the WSL sides outside the top three. I think she could quite strongly get into the starting lineup almost week in, week out.
Yeah. Maybe someone like a Liverpool. I know she went to Everton. I know that's rivalry, but it's not. You know what I mean?
That's like going to Rangers if you came for Celtic.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So somewhere like Liverpool, obviously Everton's probably out of the question now. Brighton, those sorts of teams, I think would be a great fit for her.
Yeah, I would say it's Liverpool, Everton, Rangers, Celtic. Liverpool are not that big of a team. Right, so
Neither are Rangers, so neither are Rangers. They're called an Old Firm anymore.
Yeah, we've got to be nice to Rangers. They won their cup final this season against Celtic, didn't they? And then bottled it.
They just won an effort. They just won one Old Firm. Old Firm.
It's a big cup. Yes, Mel, I'll come to you. Obviously, with the Palace game, we hopefully we're going to be seeing like most of the first 11 players. Surely it's important for them to be playing and gelling as a unit again, especially after the break, isn't it? Like, and getting Russo scoring again, because it's been about 2 or 3 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the good thing about the game being called off is it's probably given them that opportunity to be a bit more proactive in training. They've probably, I can only assume they've played a bounce game, if that be taking some of the younger ones up and just having a proper 90 minutes within the squad on the training pitch, which I think is probably the best thing you can do when a game's called off. It's not going to be as competitive, but you are then having to go up against players that you know how they're going to play, they know how you're going to play, so you're having to think outside the box a little more. It is still that minutes in the legs, but I think before the game was called off, I'm sure it was Emily Fox and somebody else. I think it was Mariona, possibly, were probably the last two to return from Lena were the two that returned. They returned quite late from the winter break, so it's probably a blessing that the game was called off, because then it gives them that wee bit of extra time to sort of get in amongst the squad, sort of shake off the Christmas period and stuff, which with how pivotal words, Melissa, Emily Fox has been for the rest of the season so far. She's one of the players that you want to see on the team sheet every week, so definitely gives her the chance to shake off the cobwebs, get rid of the jet lag, and sort of readjust to what I can only assume for her is the shockingly cold weather that they had in London over the last week.
Yeah. We will carry on, but I think we should probably address something that's been in the chat before Darren gets too emotional. I'll let you read it out, Mel.
What one is that? The one to
slagging Steiner off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But And then someone said she's the most successful substitute goal scorer in WSL history.
Thank you, Andrew.
That was Andrew. So that's your Stina fan club right there, sort of backing each other up.
That's fine. I'll take them on because at least I'm saying it on here, not in the chat behind the keyboard. Darren and Andrew. So yeah, the Chuckle Brothers. So we've seen Stina start games, miss absolute sitters, but that don't really get mentioned when that's been costly because she scored a few important goals. Oh, well done. She scored in the cup final. Won as a cup, yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the Mel take your top off moment or the breaking limbs. I'm happy for you. And thanks, Stina. But comparing her, do I think she's good enough to start for Arsenal Football Club? No way. No. And they probably won't talk to me now, but I'm not really bothered. To be fair. I really don't get the hype on Stina. Maybe anyone if anyone wants to correct me on that on the show, feel free.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, Dorian's just put in the chat as well. It was like Kafaji scored 1 in 98 minutes and Stina scored 2 in 309 minutes.
No,
say what you want about her coming off the bench, but for Kafaji being a player who seems to not get on the pitch, even if she sold her soul to anybody who was willing to take it at the minute, Stina's not really put up any impressive numbers that shows that she should be the first name sort of called up off the bench before anybody else at the minute.
I'd rather bring Freya Godfrey.
The thing is, Russo got a lot of stick at the start of the season, and it's like, no offence, but there's 2 strikers there. Why is Russo taking a lot of the flack? Yeah, I get it. She should have got a lot of the flack as well. The 2 of them should have got a lot of the flack. But we brush a lot of Stina's incapability under the carpet because she has come up in big games for us.
Or because she does something stupid and scores a goal off the back of it.
Like a ballerina.
But the goal come off her ass.
It's like looking back to the Chelsea game as well, like Stina had some unbelievable chances.
Yeah.
And any other player that's coming off the bench to make an impact like what people want Stina to be, they would have buried those chances and that would have changed the game and it would have changed the whole course of the season for us. But she rattled one off the crossbar, she rattled one over the crossbar, and she had one come off the post and hit her, and she still didn't know what to do with it. So
yeah, I'm not saying she's shit. I'm just saying she's not clinical. Like she can take these chances. She's gave us big moments in games. But so was Katie Reid, because we sang her song for like 40 minutes. Like, I just think Stina is not clinical enough. If we let's be honest, we're all saying that now Renee's in charge, and don't worry, that's not a spoiler. Like, it's not been announced, but I think everyone knows it will be. Is Stina? Yeah, there's your bombshell. Is Stina going to win you a title as your number 9? I don't think so.
No.
To be honest, I'm going to be slightly controversial here.
Why not, Jack? Jack's not here, mate. So why not your turn?
I think Stina. I don't agree. Solo striker, she's not good enough. Stina is a partnership striker. She needs somebody up top with. So Stina plays well when there's 2 up top, one down the fortune, one down the running.
But then we've had that. We've tried that, and there's still nothing from her.
We've tried it for literally one game. 1 game, 2 at a push, and then it's back to 1 up top. It needs
what Stina needs. What Stina needs is,
see, the thing is.
What were you saying, James? Continue.
I was trying to say something.
See, the thing is I say stick her up top with Russo, the 2 of them together. The way we were told when Russo was signed from Man U, Russo signed not to push Stina out, she's signed to play alongside her. You could probably.
Can you? Right, hold on. Mel, read that last comment about the expected goals thing to James.
Stina's expected goals is 3.4, Rosa's is 0.6, and Russo scored 6 from an expected goal rate of 4.4.
But if I get what people say. Play Stina with Russo. That's what I keep hearing. So, who are you dropping for Stina? This is my question. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
She's not as good as she used to be, but give her some respect.
Maybe it's me. I'll give her respect. I said, well done. Thanks for winning us the Conti Cup and scoring some big goals. But
then even then, she nearly scruffed that goal.
But the thing
that's
is,
what I mentioned.
the thing for me is, what's that there saying? The expected goal tally. Stina's is next to nothing, apparently. Russell's kind of started coming on form. You probably see Russell's rise a bit higher with Stina being on the park because the defensive then gets something different to think about. They've got to watch a second striker.
But they don't, though, because she's always offside.
She's never offside.
What Stina needs to be a better player is, when you're watching the NFL, they've got like the lines sort of drawn on the pitch, so that when you're watching them, you know where they've got to get the first down. Stina needs that, but she needs like a pair of like contact lenses where she can constantly see the offside line. Because I think at this point, that's the only way that we're going to get that woman consistently staying on side.
Somebody needs to teach her poor lassie offside.
I don't.
I think if you play her as a partnership, I think she'd be a decent striker.
Yeah, but then her and Russo were both offside, and then we're fucked because we've got no striker offside.
But this is what I don't get. If you're playing Stina and Russo as a front two, then what happens to who are you dropping? Like, are you dropping Mead, Ford, Cadente, Jacquet, Frida? You got if you're dropping any of them for Stina, then mate, you've had a heavy Christmas. That's all I'm saying. Like, I just don't. I don't know. I'm baffled. It's like, like Mel, when we said you've got to be able to criticise players even if you like them. It's just like that.
Yeah, to be fair, Andrew's held his hands up and says that he thinks that Stina gets overtaken by Michelle Aguiman.
Yeah, see, Andrew knows where his bread's buttered. He knows I'm the boss. Like, he knows what I say. So, yeah, but no, I honestly do think.
I forgot you're the famous one, George.
Dorian's doubled down and he says, pair up Stina and Russo and take Frida off the bench. Wrong. Incorrect. I'm not standing for that. You'd rather have Frida sitting on the bench than Stina Blackstenius.
No, I think what he's saying is pair up Stina and Frida coming off the bench.
Still, wrong. You want Frida sitting on the bench and coming on with the human embodiment of a giraffe? She stumbles around at top like a baby giraffe. And yeah, okay, it's funny and it's endearing because she plays for us and she scores sometimes. If she was a Chelsea striker and we were watching her and she was bumbling about and constantly offside and that, we would rip her to oblivion.
So laughing.
Why is it just because she wears an Arsenal top that everybody thinks, oh no, but it's Stina?
Give her a chance. She's got a nice song.
Here's the thing, mate.
She's got a good song.
I know the next two against Chelsea and Man City in the league are the most important. Paris is kind of God's given. We should be taking the 3 points. If Stina was to score the winner in both of those games, and you're still saying, nah, dump her.
Yeah, because she won Chelsea's league last season.
We've been saying it since the Conti Cup last season.
Tobin Heath was the most wild signing I've ever seen. Yes, I have got a top with her name on it because I thought it was funny and I really liked her as a player. She did fuck all for the club. She scored a last-minute equaliser against Man City and hit a knee slide and disappeared off the face of the earth. And even then I was like, thanks for fuck all, it's time to go.
But just to remind people that thanks to Stina, Chelsea won the league last season.
And even Sam Kerr said thank you to her.
But I just think I
There
don't
was
know.
a lot more at play than Justina Blackstenius for us not winning the league.
Well, no, if she didn't score the 2 goals against City, City would have won it, wouldn't they? But there you go. I just
Double scored the winning. If she didn't score 2 goals against City, we'd all be whinging that we lost to City. Do you know what I mean? Like,
We win. When did that win?
I'm baffled.
You're just looking for holes to pocket, George. That's what you're looking for.
I feel like I've bumped into like and like we know that there were specific fan clubs for players. I feel like I've just been like ambushed by the Steelers fans.
Went upset one of your rooms.
Yeah.
If Hannah
I'm gonna
watches
get banned.
this, he is
Gonna get
definitely
banned off
the
Twitter.
best pal.
I'm gonna get
Hannah's
banned off Twitter.
got some level of rationale about her, though. Some tiny bit, teeny bit.
I'd say I wouldn't say I'm a particular fan of any player. There's certain players I like, but I wouldn't particularly call myself a fan of any of them. If they were to leave tomorrow, my attitude's the same. It was the same when, to use the most popular one, Viviana Wiedemann left.
Yeah.
Thanks for your services, see you later. You're no longer an Arsenal player. And if Stina was to leave tomorrow, thanks for your services, you're no longer an Arsenal player. But while she's there, I do think she takes more of a hit than what she should.
It's the same though as well. You've got certain players that you feel that need to be criticised more, but they don't because they're certain players who play for the Lionesses and they're blonde and they play at centre back.
I agree. Stina does miss her sitters and stuff, and yeah, we do the whole slagging. She's always offside. But you need to remember, when we're playing a position of 4-3-3, there's supposed to be 2 other people up there with Stina, and there's not. It's officially a 4-3-2-1. Every single time it comes up, 4-3-3. No, it's not. Stina's up herself or Russo's up herself. We need a second person up there as an actual, I'm here to do an attack, where the defence are then going to think about it, and that's where I think Stina will benefit.
But isn't it a 4-3-3 because you have Caitlin Ford on one side and Beth Mead or Cadente on the other?
But it's one position I don't think I agree exists in football is an attacking winger. No. You're either a winger or a striker. You're not both. If you're a winger, you're on the wing to cross a freaking ball in for the striker.
Yeah. I find it funny. This was going to be a nice show, and it's turned into be absolutely obliterating Stina.
As I say, I don't agree with a player being attacked in a sense where I think we can do something to help. There is, as we say, and I'll go with the most obvious choice here, Manu. There's nothing, we can no longer defend that. Manu doesn't help herself. No. Stina still tries something. Fair do, she might get caught offside or she might hit a post or a bar. She still tries something.
I get that, but then Stina's been getting herself offside for quite a long time. So why is she not doing stuff to adapt her game so she doesn't get offside as much?
Yeah. To be fair to it as well, though, I think if you put, not that I ever want this anytime soon, but you put VAR in WSL, I think you'd find that she's not offside quite as much as she gets called.
Yeah, yes. No, I agree.
What I will defend her on, though, is the amount of times that she screams for that ball early, onside, and our team don't recognise it, and then recognise it too late.
Yeah, you've got that 1, 2, 3 touches extra, and then because she's already started her run.
Because she's already pointed to where she wants to go, that other team's line has then pushed back, and she's pushed up, not realising that they haven't like pushed up with her.
And that's
so therefore.
And that's what I mean is with the 2 up front. Where Stina goes to go early, give me the ball, I'm over there. The defence then go right, the striker's going over there. But at the same time, Russell's then slipping in onside where one of our players, whether it be Mead or whatever, can go, yeah, Stina's got to get caught offside there with what they're doing here. Russell, bang, there you go, straight through 1-on-1 with goalkeeper. Yeah. It brings up her tally at the same time as Stina's done her bit by confusing the defence. The defence have then got two very different players. One who likes to play like Cena does, on the shoulder of the last defender, and one like Russo that likes to play in front of a defender. They've got two different things to think about. And especially, maybe not so much against like the Chelsea and stuff, who might be able to work that a bit better, but against a team such as a Palace, a Bristol City, even pushing maybe a Liverpool, who are going to then sit back and try and park the bus, frustrate the life out of Arsenal. All of a sudden, what do we do? Do we hold the high line for Stina? Or do we sit deep for Russell? They've got two very different things to think about. And that's where I think it might benefit our game. But Arsenal, along with pretty much every modern day football team, will not do two strikers.
I think the other thing is as well, like what you were saying about playing the three up top, but it's not really three up top, is we're a very stationary three up top. For a 4-3-3, it's very much Mariona goes on, she plays on the left. Caitlin Ford goes on and she plays on the right, and Russo goes on and she plays in the middle. At a certain point, you need that sort of rotation where Russo goes outside, down to the right, and Ford comes at the middle, and then Mariona comes at the middle, and Ford goes off on the left. Like you need them to constantly be circling as well.
You need them more to be. You need them more to be like wide forwards instead of like actually playing on the right, playing on the left. Because I feel like they stay on the touch, like on the sideline. Sorry, they're quite narrow at some point. Whereas if, I'm not saying play Stina there, but what I'm saying is like if you've got like what you said, James, and a proper attacking wide forward or a winger, I think then you would see, when you see them line up as a 4-3-3, you would see that the three up front are actually a three up front. It's not just.
That's it. I suppose in a sense it is trying to find that, as you say, find that balance. And I suppose a 4-3-3, like a game against Chelsea, where it is going to be sort of more end-to-end. A 4-3-3 does kind of work in the sense that you can pull the two wingers back to create a five across the midfield. But at the same time, as you say, at times we're finding, such as like a Katie McCabe and a Caitlin Ford, bombing it at the same time when 5 feet of each other. A defence can then easily turn around and counter that by going, right, that's fine. Pop a team of three there. Straight away, you can't go back, you can't go forward, you can't cut into the middle. You're stuck. Whereas, as you say, if you, like Mel says, work it round so that everybody, it doesn't need to be constantly the same, but for an example, every sort of 15 minutes of the game, whoever's out wide, someone then comes in, someone then goes out. All of a sudden, well, the person I was watching 10, 15 minutes ago is somebody completely different. How the hell did they play? It constantly gives that defence an earache and something to think about.
I don't know.
I do get it.
He's standing up to you, George.
No. I've seen Darren's turned into a keyboard warrior, hasn't he?
But as you say, it's eventually, see, especially as well when you're playing the same teams.
Yeah.
You play Chelsea twice, you play Man U twice. Eventually, these teams are going to twig. We've said it countless times on this and in the chats. Teams are twigging to how we play. So change it up.
Mm-hmm.
Do something different. That's all we're kind of asking is when it, not saying every game, but there are games where you can turn around and go, do you know what, rather than going a 4-3-3, we can go a 4-4-2. Right, this is going to be a tricky. Maybe go a 4-3-1.
I'm not saying she can't be a different option. What I was trying to say before Darren got excited in the chat was that I don't think she is good enough to be a number 9 that leads us to a title. That is just my opinion. Where like James or Laura, whoever might think, she is. Like that's what I like about here. We can say, like, we don't have to have the same opinion, but and I'm seeing like in the chat saying, she needs to play with a stronger striker. So what's Russo then? Russo scored like loads of goals, and And like also when when Stina plays against the lesser teams when she's offside, she doesn't need to be like she gets herself into positions that when she's offside that she doesn't need to. So and the joke's been that she's always offside. So why is she not learning?
It's
baffling. That's what it is. It's baffling.
for me, she's always going to be that type of striker that plays on the last defender. Yes, I do agree in the sense, as you say, well to stay at the onside side of that last defender, but at the same time, I think as well as Laura said, she's looking for that early ball. And I think as time goes on, the midfield, that'd be one thing I've been working on is, yes, as much as Stina, you need to learn to stay the onside of the last defender. At the same time, midfield start realising when Stina's on, she's looking for that earlier ball. Stop taking the extra 3, 4, 5 seconds to decide you're going to give it.
For anybody that hasn't seen the comments, Laura's laughing at Darren, who is probably one of the number one members of the Stina fan club, as just said. Moving on, enough about Stina, she's shit anyway.
I'll take that as a victory. Thank you. Right, anyway. But yeah, that was a good conversation. And just to change the subject a bit as well, I do agree with what some people said about Rosa. I'd like to see her feature a bit more in this second part of the season. I can't remember what we were talking about. So we are basically going to just randomly do predictions before I lose my mind. Paul, what's your predictions for the Palace game and your first goal scorer? And don't say Stina. We can.
This is when she does score first, then we all look like a bunch of clowns.
James is going to sit in the podcast next week like that.
Yeah, James will be hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll play a strong team. We'll get a great result. We'll get easily get the 3 points on there. I can see 5-0. 5-0 to us. Hat trick for Stina.
Almost the same as Darren, who just put in the chat saying 6-0 Stina hat trick. Yeah. And I'm wondering if he means an opening Stina hat trick or a Stina hat trick times 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. It could be 6-0. Stina hat trick of offsides. So like, if you want, I ain't giving up on my like. I know Darren thought, James was standing up to me, but no, not backing down from the Stina saga. James, what's your predictions and goals? He's probably going to say Stina now, isn't he? So yeah.
I think she might come on score a goal. I don't think she'll score the first one. Yeah. I'm going to be a little more cautious given the fact it's my first game back after the winter break. I'm going to go with 3-0 and Beth Mead for the first goal.
Cool. Laura?
I'm going to go 4-0 and I'm going to go Alessia Russo for the first goal.
Yeah, proper striker. Yeah, just saying. Mel?
Somebody that knows how to put them in the back of the net this season.
I would like to say that this looks like I've just copied Laura, but I did write down mine before I wrote down anybody else's. I've also said 4-0 and Russo will score first.
Yeah.
Alessia Golden Boot Russo. What am I going to go for? 5-0.
Stina.
After all that. I'm going to go 5-0. I'm going to go Kim Little.
Oh.
Super Kimmy Little.
We're getting a panel in the opening 5 minutes, guys. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Right. Before we we're not talking about Stina anymore. Right. We're gonna just finish up by talking about a couple of transfer sort of stories. and rumours. So get your opinions on them. Stina's going to Villa. No.
The Arsenal retirement home.
Paul, I'll come to you. Obviously, I know we touched a bit on Katrina Miller-Cole probably is going to be leaving. You said like what other team she could go to. Do you see it being a loan, or do you think she will actually leave this time, like this window?
I think it really depends what she's promised. If she went on loan, I think she'd need to know that when she comes back, she's going to be guaranteed some game time, or she needs to look for a club that is going to guarantee that game time of longer term basis. 'Cause I was really hoping the 6 months she had at Everton last year were going to then bring her in at the beginning of this season as a regular player, but obviously that didn't work out. So obviously we don't know what is left on her contract with us, whether it is up at the end of this year or whether she's got another year on it. But if we were to sell her, I'd like to have a buyback clause or something on there to see how she did in a couple of years' time. But either way, for her development, she's got to be playing. And like I've said before, she's not getting that with us, and she really needs to have it somewhere. And as much as I'd hate to see her go, because I think we'd be losing a very talented player of the future, for her development, she's got to go.
It sounds like the old thing when they were saying about sacking Arsene Wenger. He's got to go.
She does. She's just not getting what she deserves with us.
No, I agree. Mel, I'll come to you. Obviously, we've heard. I don't know if it's official. I'm not breaking as an ITK here or nothing. But Freya Godfrey looking like she's going or has gone to London Lionesses. Do you think that's a good move for her?
Yeah, I think they seem to be a team that's playing quite well this season from what I've seen sort of result-wise from them. I know there is a little bit of controversy around the situation with London City Lionesses just now and the way that they didn't have space in the squad for any extra players to bring in, like Freya Godfrey, and they may or may not have terminated the contract of the certain Rusha Littlejohn.
I bet that
apparently,
went down well.
that's what I've been seeing online. But again, like we've said before, what a lot of people need to remember is it's a business at the end of the day. It's not a great one if you're in Rusha's position, but again, she is a player who plays continuously on the international stage, just played at some big name clubs. So for some of your teams in that league, she would be a decent signing. But yeah, I think Freya Godfrey could go into London City. She's got a familiar face in Taya there as well, so I think she could settle in quite quickly and make a difference. Aside from that, I've not really seen much in the form of transfer rumours for anyone. But I will bring in my little bit of Scottish football transfer knowledge, and that Liverpool have just taken Sam Kerr on loan from Bayern Munich, the real Sam Kerr.
There's a story to that.
So I think
when I read it, I was I thought she was injured, and I thought,
she could be a really good sign for them. I think she didn't get a lot of minutes at Bayern, but when she did play, she seemed to have held her own. Same with Emma Watson as well, who's gone into Everton, which I think when I saw that she'd gone from United to Everton, that was the main one where I was like, I can't see them taking cool now and having two young midfielders on the books on a loan till the end of the season. And another rumour that I have seen circulating that I'm not very happy about, but I will, if they do come to the WSL, I'll be very happy to see how they get on, is Ireland and Celtic's Caitlin Hayes is apparently been in talks with a fair few clubs. Again, another really, really good centre-back. Could see her going to maybe a team like Liverpool, sort of maybe even a United, anybody like that. Definitely not a team in the top three, which brings me great sadness. That pink pre-wrap hairband would really hit against an Arsenal red top. But it's another good player that's sort of came out of the Scottish football setup in recent years and could hopefully make an impact for a club south of the border.
The big question is Sam Kerr worth getting in fantasy football?
What, the real Sam Kerr or Chelsea's?
The likeable one, not the one from Chelsea.
I have to say that the Sam Kerr 2.0 of the Australian version has sampled some Scottish football recently, so should everything go wrong for her at Chelsea, the Scottish Women's Premier League could come knocking. She was pictured at the Scotland game at Easter Road pre-Christmas break.
Yeah, right.
So that was a really bizarre one. When I saw that, I was like, I don't know how I've ended up in Easter Road, and I certainly don't know how you've ended up in Easter Road. But
I thought when Sam Kerr went to Liverpool, I thought that was a good move, like for everyone all round, really. So that'd be a nice one to keep an eye on, really. Laura, would you be expecting any of the other youngsters to go out on loan? Because I know there's a bit of talk about Viv Leah's contract still, isn't there?
Because she's the only one that's not signed a contract as of now, actually, that she's not signed a professional one. So is it a matter of the club are in talks with her to see what she wants to do, or is that another one that we're going to lose because she knows herself that it's going to be such a hard team to break into? It's sad because these are young, talented players, and we can see in them when we bring them on for however minutes we bring them on for, that there's something there that they could bring to our team. I think next season, we'll see Michelle come in and be a shining light, and maybe see a certain striker get the door. I'll not name her because it will stir a lot of things back up, but I can see a certain striker going out the door next season. The only other one I've seen online, a lot of them get their knickers in a twist, is Trinity Rodman. And how TikTok up saying that our season has just ended in the NWSL and now has just started up again so quick. But I don't know where they get that she's on her way to Arsenal. I don't understand that.
I don't know where they get it from. I don't care where they get it from. But if we do get her, I will be buzzing. She's another. She's only been in the league a couple of years now. First round overall pick for the NWSL in the draft. A lot of people sort of know her name through her dad. Very well renowned man in the NBA. Won a lot of championships at the Chicago Bulls and Dennis Rodman, but just an all-round great athlete. She's got that drive and bite about her. She's like Katie McCabe. If Katie McCabe was a forward but also didn't get as many yellow cards. So I think regardless of what team she goes to, if it's outside the NWSL, it's going to be a really good signing for whoever she ends up. We'll all just cross our fingers that it's not going to be Chelsea, because that will kill me. She is a player that I would like to see playing on a much bigger, not that the NWSL isn't a bigger stage, but she's a player that deserves to be playing in Champions Leagues and getting seen a lot more across the world stage at the minute.
Yeah, and as I say, Chelsea haven't got their coronet, so I think that's what will do the deal. Like, get her in the
They don't have the coronet. They do not have the good companion. They don't have 5 Jaeger bombs for whatever, £15 or whatever it is. So
I did actually see that good companion got I think like a 1 star for food.
They got
who's going to the good companion for food? They don't even serve food.
I mean. No. This is what I found funny, that they've got a 1 star for food, but they don't serve food.
1 star for their pub crisp selection.
Not to give somebody a peanut allergy, like
there was no quavers.
Someone's left the pot for you. But yeah, We'll finish up James as well. Is it obviously? I know a lot of talk was about Kira Walsh. Do you think that happens this January, or do you think that happens in the summer?
I don't. I'm going to be the sort of downer. I know a lot of people when a transfer window comes up, it's the rumours who we get and the big names and stuff. Until Arsenal decide who their permanent manager is, I honestly don't see a lot of movement. I did say in this podcast before we finished up for Christmas, I think a lot of players will go, and I do believe they will. But until we decide who our permanent manager is, I honestly don't see any sort of real incomings. In terms of getting out, as we say, I think it will be a few loan spells, maybe as Paul was saying, like Captain Cool and stuff, who do, for their own development's sake, need the minutes in their legs. But other than that, I can't see a lot of movement coming from Arsenal.
I think Renee said in her press conference as well that there's not going to be a lot of business done this transfer window, which I think is usually what you find in a winter transfer window, especially if you're one of the clubs sort of challenging at the top, is you don't want to go and make a mass amount of changes when you've got such a short turnaround to get them settled into the club and in the team before the season ends. I think clubs like Arsenal and Chelsea and even Man City, you'll find, will do a lot of their business over the summer. Just for the sake of how long talks can sometimes take with clubs and players and agents and stuff. So unless it's, like you're saying, loan deals and players going out to get minutes in them to then look to sell them on in the summer, or talks have already been ongoing with players since previous transfer windows, I can't see us doing a large amount of ins and outs.
We ain't got a sporting director, apparently, have we?
Well, there's that as well.
Yeah, that's time for another show. Otherwise, we'll be here for 2 hours on my rant about that's another Swede interview. But yeah, we'll finish there. Otherwise, we're just going to derail into absolute disaster and craziness. Thank you for everyone who's commented on the show. Thanks to the Steena Army. Dorian, thanks everyone else. Mel, thank you as always.
No problem at all. I will try and promise not to sleep in and make everybody late for the next one.
But Mel, there's no point because you'll just do it again, so it's fine.
What can I say? I've just started a new job. I'm a very tired girl. I'm doing lots of learning. It's only Monday, but it's been a long week.
We knew what had happened, so it was fine. James, thank you as always, mate. Good debate as well. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on again. It was a pleasure to be here.
No worries, and good luck with Johnny Evans, mate. That's all I've got to say. Paul, thank you.
Harry Maguire as well for half price, so there.
Paul, thank you as well.
Yep, thanks for having me. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
You won't see me because I'm not at Palace. So, my next game actually is Brighton, Bristol City, and then I think I'm at that. Who's a small team we've got? Oh, Spurs. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I'm at a goalball training and I've got a goalball tournament, so I can't do Palace or Chelsea. Laura, thank you as well.
You're very welcome. It's been a while since I've been on, so thought we'd top on the night and see all your lovely faces.
All right, just because I can't fucking see. Waited to the end of the show just to get that in. So getting good at this. But yeah, anyway. Good night, everyone. Have a good one, and join us next week. Take care.